Hey guys, so the thesis of today is why remote work is here to stay. You can work from anywhere in the planet and get a team, and that is going to be very successful. Okay, so here's the market overview. So, what I tried to do is to compare the UK, a developed country where I'm currently based, versus basically BRICS plus Ireland because they have a very good source of tech talent. So the source of this data is actually coming from Glassdoor for Google and Facebook based salaries and payroll scale. The exchange grads is from the World Economic Forum. The cost of living is Numbeo, and the English level is according to the EF index. So as you can see here, the tech salaries per month actually differ quite widely versus the UK. So, for instance, where a developer would earn 90k in the UK, the same developer would earn 23k in Brazil, 39k in Russia, 20k in India, 40k in China, and 54k in Iran. So, with that in mind, like you can already see how that is advantageous for companies to actually employ someone in Brazil or India to do the job for them. And that is already widely done via TCS, data consultancy services, via Accenture, via a lot of those big companies that provide that service for multinationals. But my thesis here is that this will become even more advantageous to startup and small companies where they didn't have that opportunity before, but now they will do. In terms of pool talent, so the talent pool as well, in the UK they have 326,000 STEAM grads per year, which is the best proxy in terms of high level talent. 274k in Brazil, 561k in Russia, 2.6 million in India, 4.7 million in China, 335k. So what I did here in terms of coloring is whatever was better than the UK, more advantageous relatively speaking, I would highlight in red. Whatever was more or less the same level, amber, yellow, and then what was worse in red. Cost of living. Well, I'm comparing now against London, okay? And Brazil has more or less Sao Paulo, relatively speaking, is about a third of cost of living of London. Russia, so Moscow, the capital, 42%, and the cost of living of London. So India, 22%. Then China, Shanghai, 52%. So those are all the capitals, you see. And then in terms of English levels, well, you may say, well, but if we hire, we're gonna have some English barriers, and yeah, that's relatively true. But there are some individuals in those countries who speak very good English, and especially in Russia and China, they seem to be have very good levels in there too. So that's it in a nutshell for those countries like Brazil, Russia, India, China, Iran. You've got a lot of opportunity there, not only in terms of cost of living, but also the size of the talent pool. Now, in terms of what is happening in the market, I think in terms of multinationals and large companies, this has already been happening for a decade now. They have their own offices in other countries, especially in cheaper countries, so that they can basically shift tilt towards more cheaper countries, so it's more cost effective. They also use consulting agencies such as PwC, Deloitte, Ernst Young, KPMG, and traditional agencies like Michael Page, Manpower, Adecco, to basically have contractors working from in developing countries, but actually doing the work that will be utilized by developed countries. But I think the huge opportunities here is in startups and in small companies. So there are a few new alternatives, quite new. So TopTal, about 10 years old now, hired about 5, 6, 7 years. Basically, they hired a top talent that is freelance talent, and basically if the company wants to keep that freelance later on, they can use such services like Deal or remote.com, and then they will do the global payroll and HR for you. Other alternatives as well that are coming into place are things like Turing. So basically, they find the developers after rigorous tests of 8 hours, covering all the major tech stacks. Basically, they would then match this talent with your company and then offer you a risk-free trial. Most of those candidates that are working remotely, they're working from countries that are a lot cheaper than developing countries. And here's why remote work gets interesting, because you don't need to be in the capitals anymore, London, New York, and places like that, to actually work for any company, high tech startup or multinational level. And for the company side, they can save, half or a third of their money in their payroll by having people working remotely. Now, that being said, there are cons for this as well, because what they say is that most of the human communication is via body language. So, how can you make sure that the career advancement of that person working remotely will be the same as the person working in the office? And I think that's the major challenge. But I do think that there is a huge opportunity, especially for companies who are cash strapped, to dial up their remote working opportunities. And that's it for today, guys. This is why I believe that remote work is here to stay. See you until next time.